I hope I'll be very appropriate and do it on time. Okay, I've already been introduced. I won't say so much, but I'm going to go to the next slide, which talks about what Uganda Flying Labs is all about. Okay, we are there to improve their livelihood through drone technology and other robotics in the area of local intelligence and robotic technology. We truly like to partner with almost every sector, including universities. And the talk I'm going to talk about was about us working with Makerere University to see how we could improve the livelihood of the war-torn area, which is Nakasongola. The reason why we went for cattle is because it's one of the major activities that happen in that area, which was war-torn Nakasongola. And we have realized that there's so much information that has been dug about crop analysis using UAV. So the vet med department thought, why not also use drones for the cattle to see how best we can have a turnaround time in that area. So, yes, so we went with the Department of Vet Medicine to see how best we can ensure that there is a turnaround. The main purpose of this research was basically to see how they can do body score and also see how the cattle can be detected if they have any diseases, including the area of cross-infections between diseases, because in that area it is well known for farmers who are very notorious for transporting goats, cattle, chickens, you name it, in one truck, and that is a high risk, to name a few. And we also noticed that they do quite a lot of auctions in the market for cattle every week. So how best can we help the government to account for the money that is coming in? Okay, let's go to where Nakasongola is. It is one of the areas which is within what they call Luwero Triangle, where there was war. It was the heated area, the hotspot for war during that time when we had the war, which we are going to see. And the population there is something like 6,500 people, yet we have probably more than a million cattle. So the cattle are more than the people who stay in that place. Hence, it's called a cattle corridor, and it's on the highway of Kampala to Gulu. Okay, so we're going to watch a video.
There's only one way to enter the so-called fire zone, and that's with an army which these past few months has fought a relentless bush war against guerrillas opposed to President Obote. They led the way as we crossed into the Luwero district. Only an hour from Kampala, maybe, but at once we saw the first of many deserted and devastated villages now under army control. Settlements where no one is allowed to walk, let alone reclaim their homes. A war made largely in their name has left them victims of a fierce campaign to stamp out insurrection in Uganda at large, or living in government camps like this one, at Kopeka, deep in the bush north of Kampala. Homes made of banana leaves and straw. But once we found evidence of malnutrition and starvation that has become an epidemic this past year. Children suffering unmistakably from marasmus, starvation, and kwashiorkor, protein deficiency.
Okay, so that is what happened during the war, and those were the effects of the war, which has taken us to this era where we have Museveni in reign. But we do not want to go so much into it. We want to go to how we have overcome. So far, something is happening in Nakasongola, which is part of the triangle, Luwero Triangle, and it has become a region of its own. There has been quite a lot of improvements. We see that they are beginning to have literacy rates going up to 82.7%. Telephones, they're beginning to use telephones in that area. Internet access is still minimal. It's about 8.2%. And access to water and electricity is, okay, water is so much better, it's 69%. While the roads network is also beginning to improve, we're beginning to know that there are no potholes in some parts of Nakasongola. And electricity access is still at 26.8%. Radio ownership is one of the big things. It's an improvement for them. That is technology. Okay, how do we come in? We did realize that the major source of income they have is basically from local taxes, which they collect from the business people. And of course, you can see that all their income is coming from many businesses, SMEs, and the major one, which is the cattle corridor market and gate charges, is one of the major income earners. So we say to ourselves, the major income earner is definitely coming from the cattle. How best can we make this industry boom using technology? So we came up with this proposal, proof of concept, which was talking about how to identify the best practices in transportation and compliance, animal health, identifying how we can track the revenue collection for cattle in the markets, because they were struggling. You know, most of these cattle owners just walk into the market with their cattle and then they sell them, go out. The gatekeepers collect money. Nobody really accounts exactly what happens. We also wanted to restore harmony between the different parties that treat each other with suspicion. Why am I saying that? It's because in Nakasongola, we've noticed that most of the nomadic people are coming from the western part of Uganda who are not inhabitants of that area. So the people who have been there feel like their area has been encroached on. After the war, most of them dispersed. By the time they came back, they were cattle keepers who had walked into their territory. So there's still that silent friction, which is never really spoken about. And also help the overstretched vet medical doctors respond adequately using the drone technology. Those are some of the key points we wanted to relate with. As you can see, at the cattle market, as I was talking about, those are the transporters of cattle. You see that in their truck, there is so much, they transport to Kampala and many other areas for auctioning and also for meat production. But there are challenges because everyone is inside there and you don't know how many cattle they are. Are they sick? Are they not sick? To name a few. And in short, we did a data analysis after capturing the images, and we got to understand that some of the areas are depleted, overgrazed. Water resources were also limited in some areas. That helped us to make decisions on where do we relocate the animals, and also boundaries. It gave harmony and peace to those who are in that territory to know that the cattle are not going into the zone where residents are, and they are not getting into the boundaries for those who may feel suspicious that they are being encroached on. There is so much you can see with this data. You also see that we train the data using algorithms to come up with a cattle model, and in short, it also gave us statistics. So the algorithms were telling us how many cattle are in Nakasongola in different farms and so forth. The solution deployment definitely is going to give us a turnaround time of response for the medical department, that is vet, to see how they can respond to any sick cattle, using the sensors from the drones. They can have the information geotech to them. And okay, last but not, let me just get, I think it wants to get to here. Advance, we intend to be advancing in developing algorithms that support medical, the vet med, yeah? and demystify the insignificance of stigma that the community has been left to dogs. So they are beginning to feel like we are looking after them, we are supporting them, we are supporting their activities, and we want to just bring a sense of peace that ignites psychological hope. Thank you.